Hi guys, I'm here today with another Yu-Gi-Oh market watch. I just got back from my snowboarding trip, so I figured to go ahead and get a video out for this week and hopefully get some more out this weekend or later next week. The first card I wanted to go over is Amazing Time Ticket. If you remember when Lightning Overdrive came out, these were around $15 to $20, and it just never really saw play, even though it's still a pretty powerful deck. I think it definitely just needs a little bit more support, but has a ton of potential. And then right now it's like around $2 a piece, which is crazy. That's literally 10% of what it was. I would say pick up this engine. Just the one thing I would look out for is we do have the Mega 10s coming up. I guess it would be in August, probably August or September, probably September, I think, because things got pushed back a little bit, maybe even October. But I think $2 is still an amazing price to pick these up for. And then we can also look at Arcolino, which is also going to be part of the engine. These were around 20 to 25, and they're now around $4. And here you can see there's a play set for $4 a piece. Once again, I think that's a really good price for these, because if they do get reprinted, they're probably gonna get reprinted as either a super or ultra rare. And I just don't see the reprints really bringing this price much down, like below where it is. Like maybe you'll see Amazing Time tickets for $1 and these will go to $2, but I kind of doubt it, because I think that people aren't going to be interested in picking up the ultra rares. They're just going to be picking up the originals. But as far as the Amazing Time ticket, if you wanted to be super safe on your investment, you could also go with the ultra rare promo, which these just tend to stay expensive just because they're super hard to get. For example, at my locals, the way they did it is, since they only got a handful of these, like maybe 3 or 4, I don't know how it works for all the stores, but they would get like 3 or 4, and basically it was like a raffle to see who got one, because not everybody that bought like the sneak peek packs was able to get this. So it's just kind of hard to come by, but these are going for around $7 a piece. I personally think that the secret rares look a little bit better, but these are pretty clean. And I think that even though the secret rares look a little bit better, these will probably hold their price anywhere from $5 to $10. And I just think it's a matter of time before we see a format where this could be playable. And one of the reasons for that is because you can play a ton of pot cards, and not really Pot of Desires, which doesn't matter because that's limited now, but you can play kind of like Flunderies. You can play 3 Desires and 3 Prosperity, and it doesn't matter. And then I also just want to take a look at Lightning Overdrive in general. There's a few cards worth noting. So Ruddy Rose Dragon's around $18. If you have these and aren't playing them, I would honestly sell them, because it'll get reprinted as an ultra rare probably, and then this will probably be like worth $4 or $5. And then at that point I would pick them back up. I bought this card when it was like $8 and then sold it when it was like 25. So I personally don't have it anymore, even though it is like an amazing looking card. Same with Diviner of the Herald. I would go ahead and sell these and pick them back up when they're like 20 to 25 after the reprint. They're just not going to see play anytime soon. Probably will be years, because the fairy archetype is just not really well supported, and Drytron is just kind of not doing anything without Eva. I guess that's not completely true. Drytron's still decent, but I would say it's more rogue now. It's not going to be a top competitor. And then Mu Beta Fafnir, same thing. I would just go ahead, if you have them, like I would just keep it. Honestly, I probably wouldn't go through the hassle of selling it. But I would say wait to pick this up until after the 10 comes out, unless you're wanting to play Drytron, which it is a pretty fun deck, and you could still do things. I think you can pretty much just do like DPE with it right now, and like maybe set up an Appaloosa. It's not anything crazy, but still a pretty cool deck. And then, oh yeah, I also noticed, I think some people are talking about Rockstrow's Dragon being used in like a Dragon Link deck or something like that. but it's like $3 for a super rare, which I think is pretty crazy. And then one of the card I would keep an eye on is the Bing Balancer, the Resurgent. It's like around $1.50 to $2, and it's a secret rare, and it's actually like an insane card. But the problem is insects just aren't very good. I was really hoping that Beat Trippers would take off, but they just didn't do that well. But I would also just say pick this card up because it is so cheap and it's a secret rare. You might as well, because you just never know when insects will get the right support. The next card I want to go over is Incredible Ecclesia, the Virtuous, coming out of Burst of Destiny. It's pretty well speculated right now that once the Albaz structure deck comes out, that that's going to be a really good deck, probably tier 1. And then this is also going to be a card that you would play in there, I believe. It would make sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that you would play this because you can search Fallen of Albaz, which is basically a super poly. So I think that this will probably do something similar as like the Despia card. I think it's Jesper, where it went up to like $70. And I think also just this is going to be pretty collectible as like an Ecclesia card in general. And this won't get reprinted. Well, actually, no, it will get reprinted this year, I believe. But before it does get reprinted, it will be used in Albaz. So I think that it will probably temporarily go up towards the $75 mark. And then whenever the 10s come out, this will probably drop back down to like 30, 35. Just because it's going to be like the Mega 10s probably aren't going to be very good this year. So it's going to be hungry for value. And so, like, I just think that, I guess it could come out as expensive because if there's only like a few really good cards in there, something's got to hold the value and they're not having promos. So I guess it can go both ways. But I don't see the Mega 10s being opened up as much as last year. So I guess that could also lead to issues with supply. But I think if you want to invest in this card, it's definitely safe to do so, at least until like towards the end of summer. Then I would look at selling them. But I think this has a good chance of going up in value. And I'm looking to get a playset myself. I was hoping it would go down more once like Sword Soul got hit, but it really hasn't gone down that much. I think it was like $70, $75 at one point. But I do think it will go back up towards that level. The next card I want to talk about is Crossout Designator. Right now it's around $27 to $28, which I think is really crazy because this was, like we've talked about several times, around 120 on release. And this card just really has no business being under $40 in my opinion, because if you look at the 10 of Ancient Battles, there's no other card that's above the $25 level, which just seems kind of crazy to me. And this is a pretty hard card to get, about 2.5 to 3 per case on average. And with, cases we're going for like 300 in the beginning. So a lot of people have a lot of money invested into how many ever they pulled. But I think that this card will have its time. It's just not now. But the other thing you have to think about is if you think that you would possibly play this card in the next year or so, it's probably not going to get reprinted. I mean, if you look at Dragoon, where it's kind of sitting in that same spot, it still hasn't got a reprint. The only reprint it's got is a Starlight Rare, which is 3 or 4 times the price that it's currently at for the Ultra Rare. So I think this is a pretty safe investment if you want to pick these up, even if you're not going to be playing them right now, just to hold on to. It's you definitely don't want to be caught without these when you do need them, though, because there will be a time in a format where we move back towards a lot of hand traps being played, and this will be really good. Or the other thing is if you have like a tier 0 format, and let's just say, for example, if Phantom Knights were making up 60% of the top 8, like it would be really good in mirror matches. But other than that, yeah, I think it's just a solid card to keep your eye on, especially if it goes lower from here. Like if it goes to like $20, I'll be picking up 10s or 20s of these. The next card I wanted to go over is Shared Ride, Secret Rare, coming out of Legacy of the Valiant. For a while, this card was bought out to like $25 to $30. I think it was kind of when Sky Strikers had a lot of hype, which is starting to pick back up now. But it's just a super cool card. It's definitely like not a replacement for Maxi, and it also depends on like what decks are in the format, because this is like really good against, say, like a deck like Drytron that's going to be constantly searching, because it's going to generate a lot of advantage for you. But if you're playing in a format where searching is not like very prevalent, like maybe they're only searching 1 or 2 cards, it's not really worth playing it, because the odds of if you drawing this aren't very good. So it just ends up being kind of a brick. So it's only really worth it if you're in a meta where there's a lot of searching going on. But I think the Secret Rare first editions are pretty expensive still, probably like $15, but we will see. So lightly played, $9, really not bad. And then first edition near mint is around $10. That's pretty good. But even if you just want to get a nice looking version, I mean, or the exact same looking version and not have to invest that much, you can get the Mega 10 reprints that are going for around $4, 4 to 5. That's not bad here, $4 a piece. So yeah, I'll probably pick up the reprints just because usually I do try to get the first editions. I just don't see Shared Ride really going crazy. Like, I think that if this gets a lot of hype, it's not going to matter if you have the first edition or the mega pack version. They look exactly the same. And as far as collector value, I don't really see this as a collector card. So I wouldn't worry about that. I would just get the version that looks nice to you, and try not to spend too much money on it. But this could easily be another like a $6, $7 card. The next card I wanted to go over is Crush Card Virus Ultimate Rare, coming out of Duelist Pack Kaiba. I ordered one of these earlier today, actually. I got an unlimited version. And the reason why is because this is for like my personal collection. Like, I'm not going to sell this per se, unless it like just went insane in value. But for the Duelist Pack Kaiba, like the unlimited version has like the newer Ultimate Rare borders, if that makes sense. Whereas like the first edition just has like a regular common border, and you only get the Ultimate Rare like foiling in the center. So I just like that style of Ultimate Rare better, where you have the foiling on the border. So that's like my personal choice. But we will look at both. So near mint, I think I paid $25 for it today, but it's $27.50. And then if you want to look at first edition, I believe those are probably like $150. Let's see, lightly played 84. Team Sakuraso, shout out to him. He has a great channel as well. If you don't watch his videos, go check him out. But it's like $85 for late play first edition. I don't think that's bad, but like I said, I just don't care for the common borders as much. And then near mint's like around 125. I'll like pull up a picture so you can see what I mean. So see how it's like, this is obviously a foreign version, but it's got just the regular borders, but then it has like the foiling in the center. I don't know if I'll be able to find a picture of like the newer one, but I'm gonna try. Unlim. Let's see. Hopefully somebody has a picture. This is something I didn't realize actually until I got Pot of Greed from Duelist Pack Kaiba. I think it's from Duelist Pack Kaiba. It's from one of the Duelist packs, and it has like the newer borders, whereas I saw somebody that had the first edition and it has just the regular old common borders. So here's I guess the unlimited version, and as you can see, you've got the full Ultimate Rare borders. So that's why I personally prefer these more. and they're just kind of like updated where it's got the larger picture. So that's just what I prefer personally. If I was going for long-term value, I think the first edition will probably hold the best value, but I think either one, like I think $24 for a near mint unlimited is still pretty cheap. I think that could easily be $45, $50, but it will also take a while. It's not going to be, you know, buy today and then flip it in a couple of weeks. It's going to take a while for the price to go up. Okay, yeah, back I guess to Lightning Overdrive. This is Book of Lunar Eclipse, secret rare. These were about $10 to $15 when they first came out, and they're now like around $1.99, $2. If you don't have these, I would make sure you have a playset. Just because this is a super good card. It's just not the most ideal, but I think that it's definitely a useful card. For example, if you are playing a deck that likes cards in the graveyard, I know I don't play this in Phantom Knights, but let's just use that for an example. Like you could, if you're going second, you could play this, discard like Silent Boots, or not Silent Boots, Ancient Cloak, and then, you know, go full combo. So I think if you're generating advantage from putting a card in the graveyard, it's a nice card to have. The only bad thing is it does target. So that's a bit of a problem, but it's also a good interruption too if you're going first, because you can just set it since it's a quick play spell. And usually, I mean, cards in the extra deck a lot of times will prevent targeting, but a lot of main deck monsters don't prevent targeting. So like you can just stop them midway through their combo before they even get into the extra deck. So it'd be interesting to see how this card does in the future of the meta game. But I kind of have a lot of hope for this card. And if you want to go like into a high rarity, the Starlight Rare looks absolutely insane. I still have my play set of those, and I'll probably be holding those for a very long time just because it's one of my favorite Starlight Rares, and I only have a handful. Battle of Chaos next. I think this set really didn't do well, and I knew it wouldn't do well. Pretty much the only redeeming cards in this set, in my opinion, are Illusion of Chaos and the Flunderies and the Guardian Chimera. This card, not going to see play right now. It will probably when Albaz comes out. Illusion of Chaos, I think, is probably one of the best sleeper cards to pick up out of this set, just because it's absolutely, like, I think probably, in my opinion, the best card for Dark Magicians, and it looks insane. And it's a spell negate, which is pretty good, and it's a searcher, so it's just like pretty much the best card you could have for Dark Magician. And I'm really a fan of the Starlight Rare too, which I think I probably will invest in at some point. But we'll look at the Starlight Rare real quick. So it's around 100. It actually seems like it might be going up a little bit because it was down to like 140. And that's when I was thinking about picking it up, and it looks like people have been picking them up for like around 148. So I would try to get like, if you were going to pick this up, I wouldn't spend 170, because I think it'll probably stay around the 150 to 170 range for a long time. But if you can get them for like 135, 140, I would say absolutely go for it. As far as the Dark Magicians, this is also a great card to pick up. It's hard to say if collectors will go for the Starlight Rare versus the like wanting the original print Ultra Rare. I think that's kind of hard for me because I don't totally get collector brain, because I'm more of like a competitive collector. So I like collecting cards that I'm going to be playing with, or, you know, that are relevant. But I do collect some cards that I know I'm never going to play, like the Crush Card Virus, obviously. But yeah, if you know, let me know. But I think that people will probably want the Starlight Rare. But it seems to me that this will probably go lower, because I think, like, if you think this versus, like, say the Starlight Rare Stardust Dragon, that's like an original. That's an original monster from the 5Ds anime, whereas this is not an original from, say, Duel Monsters. It's kind of like a retrain for the Dark Magician archetype. So I don't think that it's like, even though it does have both Dark Magician Girl and Dark Magician in it, it's not like what I would consider like a solid collector card. But I could be wrong. I think Dark Magician fans will definitely want this, don't get me wrong. But I think I would rather have the Illusion of Chaos, because I think it's just such a better card than the Dark Magicians, even though it's not really comparable because, you know, obviously one's extra deck and one's not. But I think if you're going to pick one out of the two, I would probably get Illusion of Chaos, especially when you consider the price. But I could be wrong. And then let's see if there's anything else in Battle of Chaos that I wanted to talk about. I think there are a few. The Dark Magician Ultra Rare, like I understand if you really want this, like you could probably get it for cheaper than what it is. I don't think that it would be like $50 per se, because it is pretty hard to get and a lot of people do want it, but it's not something that really excites me per se. And I think they went about it the wrong way. I think it would have been better if they just had it as a regular ultra rare, because it's something that I would like to have, but I would like to have it for, you know, like $10, not 170. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh, also the zombie vampire. If these end up going down to like $3 or $4, I would have a copy of that. It's a decent card. It's kind of a little generic, but not really. And then Master of Chaos too. Like I would just wait for these to kind of bottom out like to a couple bucks and then just pick those up. I always just pick up any ultra rare Dark Magician or Blue Eye stuff if it's like cheap, because why not? Like a lot of times that stuff pays off. The other cards I would keep my eye on, there's two of them, or actually three of them. There's the Libromancer Geek Boy. This card's just really good for, I think, could be potentially really good for a ritual archetype. And it's a super cool looking secret rare. So I will be getting a play set of those just to have. And then also Sword Soul Sinister Sovereign, Quizing Long Wan, something like that. This card's actually pretty good too, especially for the Sword Soul archetype. And it's, you know, like $2.50. It's just really cheap. For a secret rare, that's like actually pretty usable. It's really good. So I would say just pick those up, because why not? And then last would be Dictator of D, which is only a super rare, but it's still going for around $1.50 to $2. I just think this card's like actually really good for Blue Eyes. Maybe not competitively, I don't know, but it seemed like it would be. I obviously haven't played Blue Eyes probably since I was a kid, which wasn't really a legal Blue Eyes deck probably. But I think that this is definitely like has the makings of a $5 super rare. So I would keep your eye on that. Next, I wanted to go over some cards that I would look to sell personally. And that's going to include pretty much all the ultra rares in Magical Hero. I would get rid of every single one of these, except for like, let's see. Yeah, I'll maybe keep like these lower end ones, just because those aren't going to drop in value if they get reprinted. I wouldn't think, at least. Not that either of these are really played. I have both of these actually, but I'm not planning on selling them. But I would get rid of these because these are all going to get reprinted in Legendary Duel Season 3. And while I say yes, absolutely make sure you have these cards for the long term. You can get, like, say if you sell the Dark Magicians and it gets reprinted as a secret rare, you still want to go get the original ultra rare over that secret rare, but you could end up buying, you know, 2 or 3 of these ultra rares for the price that you would sell it at right now once we get those reprints, which is how I look at it. So I had some Soul Servants. I sold those when they were like $70. But other than that, yeah, Magician Souls, I've never had this card, but I have always really wanted it. So I'm going to wait for it to get a reprint, and then I'm going to be picking up a playset of the original first edition ultra rares. Even though the secret rares look really good, I just would rather have the original print. But yeah, I would just think about that, because most of these cards will get reprinted, and you don't want to lose 50 to 60% of your value on these cards. Next, Mistworm. This is one of the cards I talked about a while ago. It was like $15 to $20. And I said, pick this up. It's from Build Tournament 1. It's an ultra rare, and it's actually a playable card, especially in older formats. And I picked up 2 copies, and it got completely bought out. I think I got 1 light play and 1 near mint. The light play was like 15, and the near mint was like 20. And I sold both of them because they got bought out so bad. But if you look, they're 45 for lightly played, and Sakurazo again with the cheapest near mint, around $62. So if you have these, sell them. Like, absolutely don't hold on to these, because we're going to get the reprint, the exact same rarity. And then after we get that reprint, you could, if you really want this card, come pick it up. I didn't really want this card. I just wanted to pick up some cards I thought that would probably double in value pretty easily, and this was one of them. I don't really care to have the original print. I probably would, unless it like goes back down like $10 after the reprint, I would probably just buy the reprint dual terminal version, just to have in case I ever play an older format. But this isn't like a collector's card really for me. Maybe it is for some people. Next card I wanted to go over is Fallen Albaz, specifically the ultra rare. The secret rare we all know is like $30 to $35. And if you look here, you can get the reprint for around $1. I would be picking up, at least 2 or 3 play sets of this card, just because I think it's an easy $3 or $4 card once we have the structure deck come out, because a lot of people are going to want to pick it up and play it, but not a lot of people are going to want to spend $100 on a play set of the secret rare. And in all honesty, the ultra rare looks fine, so I would just keep your eye on that. Brothers of Legend. I was looking at this, and now it's like kind of fully bottomed out. Some of the cards I would look at like long term, one is Leviathan Dragon. I wouldn't pick it up now necessarily, but it's like around 60, so it's not bad if you want it. But I think that if you could get it for like around $40 to $50, I would definitely consider it, because this is only the second Astral rare that we've gotten. So I think that it's, relatively worth it to pick up. I think it looks pretty cool. Other than that, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, purchase at your own peril, because something like that is going to get banned at some point. And when it does, it's going to really hurt to have that. Not that the Starlight Rare will ever be worth less than $150, but it would still be quite the sting. Magician Souls, like I said, don't get this version, and don't buy any version yet. Wait. But some of the cards I would pick up in here, it would be all of the Evil Hero stuff, Astral Karibo, Relinquished Anima, and Puri Rice Map. All super solid cards. And then of course Allure of Darkness. Every time I come on here, I check to see if I can get a few copies at like 50, 60 cents a piece, just because it's such an easy $3 to $5 card. Same with Godarla. Like, I think you should keep your eye on that, not like go crazy, but just have a play set. Because for the most part, Tri-Brigade's not really the top deck anymore. Like, it's still seeing top cut finishes, but it's still not like, I guess now though, it's not really, because they're not really a win deck and they have no way to get to the barrier statue. So I guess now, Godarla is kind of just irrelevant because of some more getting hit. So maybe you don't want to pick it up. It might just be a waste of time. Other than that, Downer Magicians, of course, I would pick those up, because as long as Zeus is out, that's going to be a relevant card. And then as far as Red Eyes Fusion, I think if you want to get a hollow version of it, get the super rare, because it's like $2 or $3 for a first edition. And actually, I'm going to show that was part of what I was going to talk about. If you want to get a hollow version, like, definitely come get the original print first edition. It's like around $350. Gigabytes is actually a pretty good place to buy it from too, because I live in Atlanta and they're close to me, and every time I order from them, it's super quick and always in good condition. But yeah, I would definitely keep your eye on this and not really the ultra rare. And then also I want to talk about Solemn Strike as probably the best penny stock of the day. It's around 50 cents, just 50, 70 cents, depending on when you look at it. But yeah, this is one of the cards that you just pick up a stack of 15, 20 and just hold on to. It'll never be cheaper than this, and it probably will take a while to go up in value, but this card can always be played as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, obviously not every format, but it will be a card that will be looked at most formats, especially where the trap decks are loose. But yeah, I just think this is such an easy card to call value on. Just because every version of Solemn Strike before was $5, and this is just one of those cards that doesn't matter how many times they reprint it, it eventually becomes multiple dollars per copy. I don't think this will be $5 per copy per se. I could be wrong, but probably will be a couple of dollars. So if you just want to have a stack, it's also like sometimes I pick these things up as well, because if I'm trading with somebody, it's just an easy card to throw in on something like they'll accept for a trade. So it's nice to have things like this to like kind of like if you're $1 short on trading, instead of like having to go get cash or whatever, you can be like, hey, I'll just give you, Solemn Strike or two, and they'll be like, yep, that's a staple card, I'll take it. But or at least I do, at least when people offer me that, because I'm always picking up staples from people. Last would be Sword Soul Moye. This card was like around $60 to $80 when it came out. And obviously Sword Souls are kind of nerfed a little bit, but they're still like an extremely powerful deck. And I think it will do well in the future, especially as we just get more support over time. But right now these are around $25, which is not bad. If you want to play the deck is actually, I think it would probably cost, if we're not including the extra deck, because you have to get Ecclesias, you're probably looking at like $300 for your main deck, which sounds like a lot, but that's really not bad if you're thinking of a meta deck. So I think that this would be a card that you could look at. It's a really fun deck. I've been playing with it online a little bit. My only problem with it is it can be a little bricky at times, but I'd say it's consistent compared to a lot of decks. It's about as consistent as I would say Virtual World is. So just keep that in mind. But actually Virtual World's actually really consistent now that it's got 3 emergency teleports. Other than that, that's all I had to go over today. Let me know down in the comment sections what cards you're looking at picking up, or any of the cards that I talked about today that you are considering picking up as well. And I will see you later in the week, or possibly next week. Thanks for watching.